Hey everybody, it's Chris down here in Georgia. Happy end of 4th of July week. It's Sunday at the end of the week of 4th of July. Hopefully everybody had a good 4th, had a good time, didn't get hurt or anything. So anyways, thought I'd do a little update. I've done a lot more rock work and I got my lights all going for my lighted billboards. And today we're going to run some cars that I don't normally run, which are Auto World cars. So I thought we'd go through that. So anyways, here's some updates on the rocks. I put some more mountainous looking rocks down here at this end. That's the bulk of my Auto World cars there. They're all original model year pre-1960. Got them from Pro Tinker, a lot of our exclusives. And then I added this configuration here. I got the Baja Bug climbing it and the Jeep, they're off-roading. It's kind of cool. I got a little overhang going. You can see down through there. Then I put some more down here and made a tunnel along with my cool Devil's Tower looking rock. This is why I have this track and not a Viper track. So I can do all these things to it. I like the diorama part and adding things, subtracting things, etc., changing. So we're going to go around this way. Oh, and then there's all the lighted signs. There's one down there, it's blinking. One there, a Coke sign there, and a little mobile sign there. I'll show you how I did the power for those. Over here, I just took the wires. I have to cover up that base. Put them on telephone poles, ran them into this box that I found at a thrift store. Got a little 9-volt battery in there. Powers those two. There's the rocks from this side. And one in the middle. And then that configuration. I'm going to dress those up with some lechin and stuff. And then I got a sign here and here, and they're running off this 18-volt transformer right here. So, anyway, we're going to do the video from this side again. I like that angle from the last one we did. Hopefully I can get this in here without cutting the video off like I've been doing. There we go. That should be able to give us a good enough view of running of the autos. Before we start, these Auto World cars are all, most of them, are all what I call pancake motors, like the old original Thunderjet 500s. And there's a pancake motor. So once a year, what I'll do is I'll take that little strap off, take that gear off underneath that strap, clean them up, oil them. But for the most part, the only place I really put oil when I'm going to run them is there's a post right here. That little silver post, that's the bottom of the armature. So when I oil these, I'll put a drop of oil between these two gears. If we can see that. Put a drop of oil between these two gears right here and right there. And then at that bottom post. And I'll go ahead and do that. Work it in a little bit. Away you go. Now I've already oiled the other cars down at the other end. Now on Thunderjets, well, as you know, you got to unscrew the bodies. You got to unscrew that front post and loosen up that rear screw. So mainly these, when I run them, I just put the drop of oil right here on the little post. which is at the base of the armature. A little drop of oil, and use a micro oiler. This one I got from Pro Tinker. It's kind of like a pen. Then there's another kind that are like this. I got that one from Viper. But you can pinpoint your oil better with that. So that's what I suggest to use. So, now that we got that, we'll go down here where I can turn the power on or run some cars. And hopefully you can hear me. If not, turn up your volume. So what I'm going to do is, just like the old model motoring cars, until Auto World came out with these adjustable transformers, their transformers were throwing 17 volts to the track. And if you look at the old model motoring and Tyco, they're throwing 18 or 20 volts to the track. These pancake type motor cars like voltage. Unlike the newer cars where you can run them down at 9 volts, which is what I do for my grandchildren. So I'm setting this at 16 volts, which I think will be adequate for these cars. And I have a couple of cars that I use as what I call my test cars. Here's one. It's a Pro Tinker exclusive. Tri-5 Chevy. And here's a Willys. That's a Thunderjet. And this is an extraction. I have never taken them apart. I have never cleaned the insides. The only thing I've ever oiled is the bottom post of the armature. So, and it's amazing how good these two cars run. So anyway, before I get started, for those of you that are new to the hobby maybe, or restarting, there's a lot going on here in this hobby, which I started a year and a half ago, and I learned from watching YouTube videos. And there's a couple of guys that are doing slot car forums. One is on Saturday night usually, and it's Scott's House of HO Racing. So if you want to get on a live stream and ask questions and learn, good avenue to do it, really good. Another guy that does it is Dan up in Canada. He's Slot Valley Racing, and he does his on Monday nights. And sometimes he'll have guest people that, show you how to install light bulbs, LED light bulbs, things like that. But very informative. They're usually a couple hours long, and these guys talk slot cars. So it's a good way to learn. And then you got some other channels out there that are informative and people doing things like Mark's Slot Car Garage. He just bought and built a table and a Viper, big Viper track. Amazing. Makes me think about getting a Viper track again, which I can't really do what I'm doing here with a Viper track, but it still makes me want to have one. If I was going to do racing, I would have a Viper track. And by the way, he's in the West Palm area, and if you're looking to do some racing, hook up with him. He's seeking people to race. It's Mark's Slot Car Garage. You can find him on YouTube. And then if you're into the older cars, the original Aurora model motoring, 500 Thunderjets, there's a channel called Jeff Ryan, and he rebuilds these cars, and he's amazing at restoring all the old stuff. That's how I learned. I've got about 12 that I restored after watching some of his videos. So it's good stuff. There's a lot of ways to learn here, and all I'm trying to do is share what I've learned, and that's why I'm here. So today we're going to stick on my AFX Giant Raceway, which I really like. I've been having fun dressing it up with diorama. And today I'm just cruising. These aren't race cars. These are Auto World cars. They're great beginner cars, and they're great for cruising on short tracks or new smaller tracks. Even this big track, they have a viable place, but you got to race them against each other. You can't really race an all-world car against an AFX car or a Tyco or a Jag Hobbies, and certainly not a Viper. So anyway, I'll shut up now and go down to this end and we'll run some of these cars. All right, I'm going to start with this Pro Tinker Toys club car from last year. Still waiting to find out which one is this year, but this is it. And here you'll see, you pretty much have to warm these up. They don't come out of the gate instant. There we go. So this is an extraction. And it's a pretty good running one. Quiet. The more it runs, the quicker it'll get. The main issues with Auto World cars of extraction and Thunder Jets, their limitation is that they have one traction magnet. So they will fly off considerably easier than some of the other cars. Now they have a couple models with dual magnets which do hold the track much better, which we're going to run. So as you can see, it runs pretty darn good. Until you speed around the corner. All right. Now, here's one of my test ones. This is the Willys. All right. I bought this. It was $19.99. It was the only car I think I bought from Hobby Lobby. Again, I haven't touched this car in probably 6 months. I'm going to give it a little warm up. And the only thing I've ever done to it is oil the bottom post of the armature. And there we go. This little guy just keeps on trucking. And by the way, I'm going to say it again, if you really want to see a nice Viper track, the guy did all on his own. He didn't buy it that way. Go to Mark's Slot Car Garage. It's an awesome track. I'm going to be in Utah in September. I'm going to go out to Viper, and I'm going to see if they can maybe do something that would intrigue me. I want a bank curve or two. I want some elevation changes. I got all that here in this Giant Raceway. That's why I got it. Plus, I could just cruise these cars around. I can putt, or I can get the fastest cars out and race them. Again, that's why I have this. All right, so that's the Thunder Jet there. Let's do this Bel Air. Ooh, haven't run this one in a while either. Gotta let it warm up a little bit. It's quiet. And I haven't adjusted the magnet to the track, which you can do if they fall off a lot. This thing came out of the package from Pro Tinker Toys, just the way you're seeing it running. Haven't done anything to it. And that's a pretty darn good running car. And again, as I said, they have their place. You don't want to race one of these against an AFX Mega G or Mega G Plus or a Jag Hobbies. Or any of the old AFX inline motors. Or Tyco. They can't hold the track as well. That's my other test car. And you see that did not come off. Great car. Now this is one of my favorites right here. I bought this from Brian at Pro Tinker. It was like his second exclusive or something like that. It's a 1956 Ford pickup. I bought it for a couple of reasons. At the time I owned a 1929 pickup that I had hot rodded out. I had since sold that one. But this was a chassis I wasn't familiar with. It's called a 4-gear chassis. It's got 4 gears inside of it instead of 3 that I showed you earlier. But this has 2 magnets on it, traction magnets. So it being the year of my birth, it being custom, it being a unique chassis, I thought, I'm gonna try this out. This is the car that I mentioned in my very first video that made me do all the work to all these bridges on this racetrack so that I could get this car around. Because I bought it and it wouldn't go underneath all these overpasses. So I started getting blocks of wood and that's, if you watch my first video, you'll see what I did. I put blocks of wood under all this area down here and got everything to the appropriate height. But see now, that is holding the track really nice. Well, it was. With the dual magnets. As soon as I open my mouth, it's kind of like commentator's curse on a golf course. There we go. That is just a great running car. I like the 4-gear chassis. They run well, they hold the track well. It holds the corners well. And it's got some pretty darn good speed to it, as you can see. That is still like my favorite car. It really is. And then Brian came up with another one this year with flames. Same premise, 4-gear chassis. Dual magnets. I don't know if this car's even fully broke in yet. I haven't run it very much. Right. And then I have quite a few of these Nomads. I love Nomads, especially the 57 Nomad. It's just a classic work of art of an automobile. This is a pretty good little running extraction. I'm hoping my cat stays at bay. He's noticed these things running around the car or the track. That's usually when he starts pouncing. And I could run even more. I've got like 4 or 5 more Nomads to run. I've got a couple more Bel Airs, Impala. I'm gonna run this one Impala for you. $1959. It's the George Jetson car for those of you that are over 60, 65. They look like George Jetson's car in the cartoon, the Jetsons. This is an auto-owned car. I think you can tell that's not an auto world chassis. I put a Jag Hobby TR3 chassis underneath this car. Look at that. I did it because I have 2 of them. I have this one and then I have a shiny blue one that I kept original. then I'm going to run a couple more of the new stuff. All right, I already did a 4-gear. This is the new Super 3 that they came out with. I'm hoping you can see that down here. It's got pretty darn good detail to it. It's a sharp looking car, and the reason I got them when they came out, the new ones, is I had bought these last year. I thought, now those are good looking Indy cars. This is a Super 3 inline motor from Auto World. Same thing with this Verizon. Except they had gear problems. And they sounded like you would put unbaked popcorn in a coffee grinder. Oh, it's terrible, and they had no speed. Well, they fixed the gear problem. They're quiet. These have double magnets. They're inline motors. And they got some speed. I'm looking forward to when they're coming out with release 2 of these new Super 3s. I'm going to get some. See that? That's almost keeping up with the Jag hobby. Chassis, which is not easy to do. You know, as long as they come out with cars like this, with the livery. Now this is one of the old ones, but I replaced the gears. I bought a couple of Super 3s from Ryan up at the slot car show in April, and replaced the older ones with the new. So, good running cars there. And then here's a Mustang. How quiet that is. Seems strange to say that an Auto World car is quiet and holds the track. But it does. And this is living proof right here, folks. Because they make their bodies look good. The paint jobs are good. Some are better than others, obviously, but that's with any slot car company. I am still and always will be a fan of AFX, and I'm a very big fan of Jag Hobbies and Viper Scale Racing. That's the fastest car on this track. And I'm looking forward to going out there in September and talking with those guys. Probably need to clean the tires on this. But this is another one, I probably haven't ran this in 4 or 5 months. I just pulled it out of there, I didn't even do anything to it. Yeah, these tires are probably dirty. I know the track's not dirty because they just cleaned it this week. So that's the kind of stuff you can do here on the Giant Raceway. I can just cruise around like I'm on a Sunday drive and running Woodward Avenue or Gratiot Avenue in Detroit and checking out the other cars. Or I can throw some speed on and race. So, here's Auto World Day at the track. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. I hope you found this informative or entertaining, something. And it's a lot longer than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be like 15 minutes. It's 24. So everybody have a great day. Again, thanks for stopping by. And I'll see you on the next one.